March are gathering currently in Church Square ahead of that march to the Union buildings. The League's Hands Off Zuma March is its first major action since it elected its leadership in August. The League Secretary General Meokgo Matuba says that the march forms part of their program of defending the ANC, particularly President Jacob Zuma. For the latest on the march, we are now joined live from Pretoria by our reporter Tumaole Mohlaoli. He is standing by with the ANC Women's League President, Bathabile Dlamini. A very good morning to you, Tumaole.
Thank you very much. Mood here in Pretoria is quite lively. There's a large number of ANC Women's League members dressed in their full regalia, and they've been singing here at the Semi-Mark Square in the Pretoria CBD. We are now joined by the ANC Women's League President to try and give us some insight as to exactly why it was important for the Women's League to march in support and defense of ANC President and President of South Africa, Jacob Zuma. Bathabile Dlamini, thank you very much for speaking to us on SABC News. Firstly, you were out here in numbers. Why was it important for the Women's League to take a stand and show support to President Zuma?
It is important because the president has a right to dignity like all South African citizens. We need to ensure that we bind ourselves to the Constitution. We should not talk about dignity when it suits us and when it does not suit us, say other things. But secondly, the president is the leader of the African National Congress. And the African National Congress right now is the leader of the society. If you look into the struggles of women, they have been driven by the ANC. And the reason also we are celebrating our late President Oliver Tambo, it's because of the role he played in the emancipation of women, the formation of the committee, and we are saying to all members of the ANC and the society, come work with us. There are many challenges that face women, challenges of abuse against women and children, challenges of poverty, unemployment, and inequality. And the person who is responsible for that program is the president of the African National Congress. And at all times, the ANC has defended its leadership. And this leadership that was elected a few months ago took a decision at its first National Executive Committee meeting that it will have this march today to defend the revolution.
And having said that, what about those proponents of freedom of speech, people who say that it's a right that is enshrined in the Constitution? Do you believe that as a Women's League, there needs to be a balance when expressing that right for freedom of speech and expression and infringing on another person's dignity?
Rights, it's very clear in the Constitution. They go with responsibilities and limitations. So you can't just stretch your right and even lose patriotism. In other countries where parties don't go together, they respect their leadership, they respect their presidents. And we think the whole thing has become personal, and we think that people are very active and vigorous in talking about President Zuma, but they are not talking about themselves. And we are saying, Comrade President Zuma is a human being like all of us.
And what steps as the Women's League are you seeking to get some kind of recourse, if you would, after the dignity of the President of the ANC and the nation has been infringed on, as you say, in such a manner?
We are coming out today to say we are not afraid, because people are trying to push us into the corner. We are not afraid. We are going to push our campaign throughout the country. From here, we will be going to PE. From PE, we will be launching the Young Women's Desk. And from there, we will be meeting with women that understand the issues of the economy and start discussing the issues of the Women's Bank. Also, we are going to be dealing with the challenges that are facing women in as far as education is concerned. Because some have said we are marching because we are defending the president from the student to students. How on earth can we do that when we are mothers, when we have our kids in institutions of higher learning, when we are leaders in our own right, and at all times people want to put words into our mouths? We are saying hands off our president, hands off the ANC, and we are saying to all members of the ANC that are sitting there in the corner and afraid to come out, because everyone is blaming the ANC for the wrongs that are there in the country. We're saying come out, the ANC liberated you, and that is why you are where you are today.
Thank you very much for those words. That was ANC Women's League President Bathabile Dlamini, basically summing up exactly why the multitudes of ANC Women's League supporters, I'm going to step out of shot, the supporters that I'm talking about behind me have come out in their numbers here to show support to President Jacob Zuma, but also to call on women right across the nation to step up in the fight for social justice as well as inclusion when it comes to the issues that are affecting the country. Of course, we know that Pretoria has been the scene of many protest marches. So the Women's League at the moment are trying to frame their particular protest, if you will, or their particular event, not as a protest against government, but really a social movement for which they call for more restraint in terms of freedom of expression when dealing with President Zuma of the ANC and the President of the state. So with that, as you can see, it's getting very lively. I'm going to have to throw it back to you in studio.
A very rowdy crowd there with Tumaole Mohlaoli in Pretoria. As you can see, that march on the way to the Union buildings a little bit later today. So stay tuned right here on Channel 404. We'll bring you the updates.